This may sound crazy, but the way to never feel embarrassed is not exactly what you think. Have you ever noticed the harder you try to avoid embarrassment, the more you end up feeling self conscious anyway? This could happen at work when you're giving a presentation, on a first date whenever you're feeling anxious to impress, or even just walking down the street wondering what people might think of you, or at the gym thinking everyone's staring at the pimple that you have on your face. I promise you they're not, by the way. In this video, I'm going to share with you something that I had wished I had learned sooner. Because once I did, it completely changed how I showed up to things. It changed the way that I carry myself in every situation. I actually shared this with a close friend last week over coffee. She told me she often feels paralyzed by this idea of fear that she will make a fool out of herself in front of the people that she respects, like her coworkers, her boss, her manager. She's ambitious and she wants to shine at work, but she also wants to be herself without dreading the idea of what if I mess up? What are they going to think of me? So let me explain how this works. When I look back, I used to get embarrassed by the tiniest things. Dropping my pen in class, stumbling over all of my words, or even wearing the wrong outfit. I thought that if I paid attention to every little detail, cared more about never messing up, then I'd somehow be immune to embarrassment. But the result was that the anxiety became more crippling and more debilitating, and I had less fun doing anything. So I decided to make a mental shift in my life, and the change was insane. It was literally 0 to 100. I realized something crucial. Most people are not judging or watching me in the way that I think they are. In fact, they couldn't care less about what I'm doing. Everyone is busy worrying about themselves and worrying about what they have to do, what they're going to eat for dinner. So that moment whenever you drop your phone or say the wrong thing, most of the time, nobody cares. And that's the truth. It may sound simple and obvious, but it's powerful. Perspective is everything. Once I stopped hyper focusing on my mistakes and realized that I'm still showing up and doing what needs to be done, I realized that I was more relaxed, more present, and more confident. I took the pressure off of myself to be perfect and I started taking ownership of my imperfections instead. One of the biggest mistakes that we make is tying our self worth to if we look silly doing something or not. Because let's be honest, most of the time, if we really cared about looking silly, a lot of the people who are successful would not be successful because they didn't care about how they looked. They just knew that they were going to get to the goals that they had dreamed in their head. We might just believe that if we can all avoid embarrassment, we will be more likable, more admired. But the truth is, most people who are the most charismatic do not care about how silly they look doing something that they love to do. You may have seen it yourself. Somebody at work who doesn't care that they just spilled a coffee all over themselves. Maybe they'll make a joke and say, well, I guess that cup had to go eventually, or whatever they want to say. Suddenly, that awkward moment becomes a small bonding experience instead of a public meltdown. Which brings me to the next point, the law of detachment. This law says that you can trust in yourself to handle a situation, embarrassing or not, you let go of the outcome. So even if you do trip, do or say the wrong word, you handle it with humor and grace and move on. And that's what happens whenever you become free. You're no longer chained to this idea that your worth comes from the idea of being perfect. And perfectionism is something that's very hard to let go of. Trust me, I've struggled with that. Now, let's be clear. I'm not telling you to be careless or rude. It's not about not caring at all. It's about not letting awkward moments define you. You can care about doing a good job at work, but you can let go of the results that may or may not come. You don't have to become desperate or obsessed with the idea of what does happen. Think about it. The more you try to never make a social mistake, the more anxious you become. Then you may end up stuttering, sweating, or forgetting your talking points anyway, because your mind is so focused and hyper fixated on not embarrassing yourself. It's like trying to not think of a pink elephant. You just can't help it. On the flip of that, whenever you're okay with, yeah, maybe I'll mess up a word or two, or if I do, it's not the end of the world. Yeah, maybe I'll mess up or trip, but I'll make fun of it and keep going. People like lighthearted. Whenever you relax, you become naturally more likable. more relatable. And ironically, you'll become less likely to have those moments in the first place. This is when you become truly unstoppable because at this point, you're not carrying the weight of what anyone else might be thinking of you. The fear of embarrassment starts to dissolve, and suddenly you're thinking, wow, I'm actually enjoying myself. Whenever you detach yourself from the fear of embarrassment, you allow yourself to make space to grow and fall and get back up again. Embarrassment, whenever it comes down to it, can be a fear of not measuring up, not being good enough, or just simply feeling unseen or unwanted, basic human needs. Whenever you allow yourself to be seen, mistakes included, you become more comfortable in your own skin. People respect that. They see authenticity within you. Let's be honest, you may have some awkward cringe moments. I'm sure some of the videos I have posted are cringy. I'm like, yikes. Okay. Tough crowd. Tough crowd. That tough crowd is me. I'm the tough crowd. Like, I'm sure nobody's looking that hard. My videos under 50 views. Like, we'll see. I'm sure nobody's looking that hard. But here's the truth. Nobody will remember the videos that were mess ups, that were slip ups, that were not completely edited because there's so many of them. But do you realize how many people are in this world? Who cares? Who cares if you mess up? We literally have the attention span of a goldfish at this point. They are going to forget it by the next 25 seconds. At the end of the day, you can't control what people think of you, only how you respond to those people. Which leads me to another big point. Redefine success in social situations. Instead of measuring success by, do I look perfect? Or did I say everything right? Measure it by, did I show up authentically? Was I myself? Did I connect honestly with others? Because that is what people appreciate. I used to be a perfectionist too. I'd agonize over every fumble I made or the slightly awkward pauses whenever I don't know what to say next. But allowing yourself to pause and actually think about what you're going to say is a big difference. It's not bad to pause. You're just allowing yourself to process what you actually want to say. But all of these fears just held me back from bigger opportunities like speaking engagements, meeting new friends, starting a podcast, or just sharing my ideas. Once I embraced the fact that I am enough, even if I do say something dumb once in a while, I felt this huge weight lift off of my shoulders. Nothing is embarrassing. Think about this. People who matter in your life are the ones who accept you, flaws and all. If somebody is constantly judging you or putting you down for a minor slip up, maybe it's time to take a step back. Don't let their opinion stop you from doing what you love or from being who you are. From today onward, I challenge you. The next time you feel embarrassment creep up on you, maybe your voice cracks when you're speaking, maybe you use the equipment wrong at the gym, or you waved to somebody who actually wasn't waving back at you, literally me every single day of my life. Own it, laugh it off, acknowledge that it happened, move forward, and move on. Don't let it consume your mind. Your life is way bigger than that moment. And if it's not going to matter in 5 years, 5 months, 5 days, or even 5 minutes, why spend energy worrying about it? Why worry at all whenever we have God who wants us to give him our worries? That's the ultimate truth. God wants us to hand over our worries. And if we make mistakes, that's okay. He still loves you anyways. I promise, whenever you let go of this fear of embarrassment, you walk through life with a calm confidence. You become more open, more adventurous, and ironically, more fun to be around. Embarrassment is no longer going to hold you hostage. If you've listened to this far, I appreciate you so much. I hope that you realize that you can show up in every aspect of your life, work, relationships, or even just walking down the street without the fear of embarrassment tying you down. Because guess what? You're human. We all are. And we all have moments that don't go exactly as planned. Thank you so much for being here. I'm Elle Kramer, and this was another episode of What the L. If you like this video, you also might enjoy my self-help series right here on YouTube. Self-help series is all about how I handle daily challenges and everything in between. I look forward to seeing you in the next one. Until then, own your moments, laugh off the small stuff, and never let the fear of embarrassment dim your shine. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you so much for being here. Make sure to subscribe if you like What the L, and I will see you again next time. Love you. Bye.